Now, within the last hour, President Obama held a news conference at the White House. He spoke on a wide range of topics that included the U.S. surveillance state, NSA leaker Edward Snowden, and U.S.-Russian relations. Our political commentator Sam Sachs was at the White House for this news conference. He just returned and is joining me now in the studio. Thank you, Sam, for being here.
I'm out of breath.
You made it back pretty quick. We're not far from the White House.
Yeah.
But so I want to start off by asking you, what kind of measures did the president introduce about the surveillance program specifically? Right.
Well, he clearly called this press conference in response to not just Edward Snowden's leaks, the latest leaks, but also in response to action coming from Congress. And the president mentioned Section 215 of the Patriot Act. Now, that's the section that kind of underpins a lot of this surveillance that the NSA is doing. And he specifically addressed that he's open to efforts to reform Section 215. I remember Congressman Justin Amash, there was that close vote in the House to defund the NSA's use of Section 215 to conduct surveillance. But the president said he's open to reforming that, and then he went on to say that he's open, and we have a clip here about how he's open to making the legal opinions that underpin it more public.
In my direction, the Department of Justice will make public the legal rationale for the government's collection activities under Section 215 of the Patriot Act. The NSA is taking steps to put in place a full-time civil liberties and privacy officer and released information that details its mission, authorities, and oversight.
So, I mean, he mentioned a civil liberties officer. Who knows how much teeth that position holds. But this declassifying the FISA court opinion that gives the legal justification for the NSA to do this stuff, this is pretty important. This is what people have been looking for. But since then, we've heard that the version that's going to be released will be a redacted version. We don't know how much information will actually be available to glean more information from this program. So, you know, we'll see when it comes out.
Now, Sam, what did the president say about the FISA court?
Right. So the FISA court, which we were just talking, I mean, the FISA court made this opinion. But one big problem with the FISA court is there is no defendant. It's really the government goes to a judge, they present their case, and the judge says, okay, go conduct the surveillance. So the president seemed to suggest that he might be willing to open up the FISA court to some opposition. And I think we have a clip of him talking.
One of the concerns that people raise is that a judge reviewing a request from the government to conduct programmatic surveillance only hears one side of the story, may tilt it too far in favor of security, may not pay enough attention to liberty. And while I've got confidence in the court, and I think they've done a fine job, I think we can provide greater assurances that the court is looking at these issues from both perspectives.
So this is actually something that is gaining movement on Capitol Hill. Senator Richard Blumenthal, we talked to him a few weeks ago about his bill. He has a privacy advocate that will sit on the FISA court. So whenever the government comes with a case that they want to start conducting surveillance on, you can have this privacy advocate, you know, argue against it or try and at least look out for civil liberties concerns of Americans. So there might be something that can come out of the president's willingness to put some opposition there on the FISA court.
Well, that's good news. Now, President Obama, he did address Edward Snowden. Can you tell us what he said about this?
Yeah, I mean, he was asked pretty specifically, given that this whole debate couldn't have been possible, given that even these reforms that the president is saying he's open to wouldn't have been even talked about without Edward Snowden, has the president changed his opinion of Edward Snowden? Does he think of him more as a whistleblower or even a patriot? And the president just immediately shot that down. He said, you know, Edward Snowden is not a patriot. He's facing 3 charges, you know, including espionage charges. And this seems to be the mood that's also coming from Congress, even among members of Congress who are reformers, who are using Edward Snowden's leaks to try and pass legislation to rein in the NSA or bring transparency to the FISA court, aren't willing to give any credit to Edward Snowden himself. They say that he needs to go to jail, he needs to face punishment. I mean, Justin Amash is really the only member of Congress who's called him a whistleblower. You've had a few members of Congress compare him to, you know, say his actions were like civil disobedience, almost like Martin Luther King. But for the vast majority of members of Congress, they're not willing to stand with Edward Snowden on this.
Interesting. Now, Sam, was there anything else significant that was talked about in this press conference?
Sure. You know, the president said that these programs aren't being abused. He said he's comfortable with the level of oversight in these programs, but the perception has gone awry because of these leaks. And as a result of the perception, he thinks there's some stuff that the government can do. This doesn't seem to make sense. We know that for a fact that at least one FISA court opinion says that the NSA overstepped its bounds and committed unconstitutional surveillance. We need that FISA court opinion. We've had Senator Ron Wyden come out and say that he knows that the NSA has there have been abuses in this NSA program. So for the president to say that he's comfortable that there haven't been abuses, it doesn't seem to jive at all here.
No, it certainly doesn't. Sam, we thank you for running back here, joining us in studio, and thank you for your insight. That was political commentator Sam Sachs.